And we are live. Hello, Inhumanoids. Hello to all of our YouTube extended family and friends. How you guys doing tonight? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to another Inhumanoids Live. I'm your host, Barton Nunnelly. My co-host, as always, my beautiful wife, Latisha. Say hello, honey.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here.
All right. Thanks for being here. Thanks so much. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. A great guest. And we're just going to have some fun tonight, okay? So I hope you guys enjoy this. And I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for another week of letting us come to you guys into your homes. And thank you for turning us on. Before we get started, we had let's go ahead and do the prayer list first, honey.
Okay.
Would you like to do that?
Yes, absolutely. Okay,
Love you too, Holly.
Once again, Mark Playboy Green says for the Holy Spirit to move across the people. We still need that. We need an overall prayer for this community, for everybody involved. We just want to say a prayer to the whole community as a whole. We need to just kind of get things out of the way and work together and just pray for the whole community. We also need prayers for Wendell Mosley, Jatesh, Sherry Griffey, Mark Staten, Sam Burton. Hope your toe's doing a little bit better, Sam.
How you doing, Sam? Thank you, Jenny.
Hawk, Cowboy 4572's wife Cindy, Scott's Life's daughter Megan, Casey Murphy, Terry Allen, and his wife Caroline, Christy Leslie, Greg House, Mindy Masters and her friend Eddie, his son Austin, and Mindy's friend Anna. Mark D, Miss C.D. Squatcher, David Hughes, mom and dad, Jackie Hall's sister-in-law, Julie, Krista Tweedy and her family, Brandy Butcher and her mom, Gary Spike Sr., Gina Cooks' brother Eric and Uncle Delbert, Kevin Smith, who is my brother, Dustin Jones, my son, Brother Heck, Spunky Sparky, Lloyd Davis' sisters, Louise and Jerry, Mickey G and Brandon, Werewolf, our grandsons, Paul and Parker. We're still waiting on some results from them. Truth Walker, Scott Hanna, Snuffy Dyer, Brenda Ward, Bria Marshall and her family. I haven't heard. I'm assuming she's had her baby by now. It's been, 2 weeks ago that she was due. So yes. I'm hoping that went well, and congratulations, I'm sure.
Congratulations.
Linda Maycheck had surgery, and she's doing a little better, still sore, but doing a little better. Kevin Roan's brother is fighting cancer. Nadine Bush, her son Doug, and herself. Crystal Cook, Jubilee, Katie G, Greg House, Prospecting USA, John, Tristan Myers, Puck Elf, and your friend that passed away,
Ray Bibbert and his family, yes.
Yes, and his family.
Thank you, Justin.
So,
did you get him, baby?
I'm getting them, and I need to say some birthdays.
Wendell Mosley, did you get him in there?
I did.
Brother Wendell?
Yep. Okay.
Wendell?
Guys, I want to say happy birthday to our granddaughter, Elena Grace, Hawk, Jason Moore, Lance Hightower. Happy birthday, Lance. I know it's coming up real fast. Jason Finch, JoJo's son and daughter, Werewolf, and Elora Neely. And if anybody would like to send their birthdays, send them to lmsmith1970@hotmail.com, and I'll give you a shout out for your birthday. I won't give the day. I will just give the month. So that's all I need to say, and there you go.
Yes, thank you, Sherry.
I got to go back.
Justin, thank you, guys. We really appreciate your donations. All donations are used to bring you better content, right? We don't ask for anything, but we sure appreciate everything that you guys give. You make a big difference in the content of this channel. We're not using it to buy cars or socks or anything like that. We use it, put it right back into this channel to improve things for you guys. And we appreciate you guys so much. Hello, Werewolf, Dana, War Criminal. How you doing, brother? Terry Johnson. Brother William, how you doing? Ocio. Sheldon, Catherine Gay, Gary, how you doing, brother? Crystal McGee. Wow, look at this, all these wonderful people in the chat.
Absolutely.
Brother Larry, Roger, how you doing, man? Cryptidville, Brother Mark.
Dana, Gary, Holly,
Truth
Miranda,
Walker, hello. Hello, hon.
Catherine, Larry. I'm probably repeating these, but sorry, I'm trying to catch up in chat, guys. It's went really fast.
Right. South
Wow.
Force 10, how you doing, brother? Shade Viking, how you doing, brother? Good to see you here. I'm glad that you're here. We've had kind of a, I don't know, kind of a rough week so far, but you know what? We're not going to let anything get us down or take us away. So as long as you guys come watch us and watch the videos, we will be here for y'all. I've been here for 40 years, right? Longer than most people probably in this chat have even been alive. And
Well, I mean, you know.
but Camel Man, how you doing, brother? Good to see y'all. Werewolf, been here for a long time, and I'll be here long after all these other pretenders and fakers and GI chatbot users. I'll be here. We'll be here long after they're gone. Good Lord willing. You had a pretty crazy start to the weekend, right, baby?
Yeah.
You want to tell them about that, or you want me to?
You do. I want you to. You too. I'm trying to keep up with chat.
Hi,
I'm
Anna,
still so far
Crystal,
behind.
Hollister, how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for being here. Fisher, how you doing, brother Jim? So we went to Ohio County this weekend to Wolf brother Terry Littleton's property, and he owns 60 acres in Ohio County, Kentucky. Well, Holly, you sure don't look 47, hon. You don't even look half that. So I thought it would be a good idea to do a live. Yeah, thank you, Justin. To do a live stream from Terry's tractor. So I said, Brother Terry, get that, put the bucket down, and Latisha and I are going to sit on that bucket, and you take us down into the lower river bottoms of your property, right? And we'll drive down through all the dense undergrowth and all that stuff. He said, Brother, I haven't been down there for a year. I said, well, that's great. It's this place is full of Inhumanoid activity, especially Bigfoot. Lots of reports from right there from where he lives. He lives on a big, tall hill with nothing but trees. And he's got a couple of neighbors down to the left and no one to the right for miles and miles. So we get on that doggone bucket of the tractor, and he rides us down into the river bottoms. And I tell you, it was a crazy ride, right?
Yeah.
We did not expect it to be that way. There were spider webs everywhere. And luckily, I brought my Spear Carnage because we were planning to go to the creek and get out off the tractor and walk down the creek. And Latisha says, we don't need the spear. I'm like, are you kidding, baby? You want me to walk down a dry creek bed at night with not even a stick? We're taking the spear. So luckily we did, because he was using that spear to knock down all the spider webs in front of us. And there were
a lot of spider webs.
Right. Grass and weeds was 6 feet tall. I don't know if you guys saw the last live stream. If you didn't, check it out after the show. It's pretty funny. Watching me and Latisha trying to hang on to that doggone tractor bucket. Now, she had one free hand, but I had a flashlight in one hand and my cell phone in the other. So I had thank you for saying that, Roger. I appreciate you, brother. Yes. I had no means to hang on to that bucket. And the terrain was really hilly and bumpy, and it was just crazy. I don't think we'll be doing that anymore. So next time we'll just maybe just walk down there,
Or we may ride in the bucket, not on the bucket.
Right.
That was, wowza.
Brother Terry, he had to lift us up over the weeds a lot of times, and he didn't quite get the bucket level. So,
about lost me several times.
Just about fell off. I said, oh my gosh. And he's a joker.
It was funny though.
It was funny. Yeah, Terry's a joker. We love him so much. He was taking us through on my side of the bucket anyway, through some huge briar patches and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, are you okay back there? Are you still awake?
He said he was doing it on purpose.
Right, he's doing it on purpose. We had a great time. We ran up on a deer. We didn't see any Inhumanoids. And someone said in a live stream that you're not going to sneak up on anything in that tractor. I'll tell you something. You're not going to sneak up on an Inhumanoid in anything. Even if you're completely quiet. Bigfoot Yeah, they can't be fooled like that, right? So you don't find Bigfoot. Bigfoot finds you. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter if you're on a tractor or walking or whatever. And we
Well,
were
no
hoping
matter
that.
what, we was making an awful lot of noise trying to hang
Oh,
on,
good,
laughing,
good
carrying
Lord, yes, we
on.
were.
Oh my goodness, it
We
was.
couple of deer. That's one thing that we seen, and I got covered in chiggers again. Oh my goodness! But thank goodness we had some of that. Thank you, brother, war criminal. Thank you, appreciate that. So thank goodness we had some of that oil that Larry's friend, the scientist, sent us.
Yep.
Larry sent us, and that works wonders for chigger bites. So had a great time, and like I said, if you guys haven't seen that one, you might want to go watch it. It's pretty funny. It was a crazy ride.
Yeah.
So we got a guest here tonight, and he's a fine young man, a fine young Christian man. He's had some experiences in Maryland, and he wants to share with you guys tonight. And let's welcome Cornell.
All right.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Cornell, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Excellent. Can you want to say a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself to the people, and maybe thank you, Brother Hawk. That's very generous of you.
Oh my gosh, Hawk, thank you so much.
So much. Thank you so much. So you wanna introduce yourself and say a few words about yourself and your life, and before we get started on the Inhumanoid encounters that you've had.
Yeah, definitely. So my name's Cornell. I've mostly lived in DC and Maryland my entire life. So that's where these encounters took place. Currently for work, I do marketing and I do a little bit of Uber on the side. Um, and some of the encounters took place. I think one of them at least was I was actually, yeah, two. I think two of them exactly. I was working out outside, so I like to work out, and then on a few occasions, I had one or two encounters while working outdoors that I will share with you guys tonight.
Well, we appreciate that, Cornell. Thanks so much for being here, man. And it
Yes, sir.
takes a certain amount of bravery for people to share things like this that they've experienced, and most people are scared of the ridicule or being called crazy and whatever. But
Yeah.
we appreciate your willingness to come share your story. So, what was it that happened to you the first time?
All right. So the very first encounter was very interesting, I believe. So let's take it back. I believe this had to have been maybe 2007 or 2008, one of those 2 years when I
Right.
had the first encounter. So I just moved from my parents' home to my own apartment for the first time ever. I was super excited, like good things were looking up for me. Um, and then that's exactly that first year I had my first encounter. So
Mhm.
I moved to a place in Tacoma Park, Maryland. And when I moved there, it was like a very, very perfect neighborhood, very peaceful. Um, I was very happy with the choices we made to move there. It was me and a roommate. The roommate that I was moving in with was a friend of the woman that I was dating at the time. So I didn't know him exactly, but she knew him. She knew that I was in need of a place. So what she did was she, I guess, brokered the relationship between the two of us, and that's how we got in. So this apartment, I want to say quote unquote, is literally an attachment built to a bigger house, which was like really large house, maybe like 5 to 7 bedrooms, I'm guessing, very large house. So on the
Wow.
back side of so on the back side of that home, the landlord, he owns a construction company, or maybe like a mid-sized construction company. So a few of his employees also live there too. So when he built this attachment, he had a second floor and a lower floor. The lower floor was for his employees, and then the upper floor he was planning to rent out to college kids. But what happened was he was friends with my roommate, and they somehow end up talking. And so the guy was like, "Hey, if you want to move here, you can. Just make sure you got like a roommate to help cover the rent." So that's how I came and got involved. So when we first moved there, bro, like the grass was like 6 feet tall because
Right.
the compartment
Yeah,
that
that's
they
like,
built,
That's like,
it's mad scary. I've seen enough Discovery Channel, and I see how like certain animals hide, predatory animals hide in the tall
yeah.
grass. So I'm pretty tall. I'm about like 6'2". So the grass was like up to my eyes, And I thought, there's no way I'm walking back here at night, bro. Like, I didn't have any real suspicion or any real reason to have suspicion for there being something there at night. But my dad used to always have like these crazy paranormal stories when we were kids. And one of the things he used to mention was like tall grass usually holds creepy things. That's what he said. He didn't go into too much detail, but he was like, tall grass is, normally known for like things hiding in them. I know,
He was
like,
right. Yes.
yeah. So I wasn't really feeling that, and I thought it was a little creepy that the landlord didn't cut it. So I decided to cut it. That first weekend, I offered to cut the grass. He had like a manual lawnmower. I don't know if they even make these anymore. You kind of just push it and it rolls and it does all the
Oh
cutting
yeah,
for
Oh
you.
my goodness! I used to have to
has
cut
the little
yard.
blade
Yeah.
on it that
Yeah,
rolls.
exactly,
Yeah, I've had to
exactly.
use those.
How in the world did you cut 6 foot tall grass with one of those old timey
Bro,
pictures,
I was
Cornell?
determined. I was
Wow.
determined.
You must have
He,
been.
because he
You
didn't
didn't need to
have
work out after that, I bet.
no, that probably was like light work for me, honestly. So
Really?
Wow.
yeah, like no problem. Because well, when I was a kid, my dad used to always have us doing gardening anyways. Like it used to be
Mhm.
hot outside. Like every summer we'd be doing gardening. So I was pretty much just it didn't bother me. The landlord thought it was nuts. He's like, "You sure you want to do this?" It's like, "I'm not going to pay you for it," and also it's like, "This won't be
Especially
easy
since
for you."
those are evil lawnmowers. Oh my goodness.
I was like, "Bro, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." Like I figured I was doing him a favor since he didn't want to do it, and also I didn't want to get like attacked by God knows what, um, coming home late at night. So I cut the grass. I shaved it down so badly it was basically dirt left when I was done with it.
Oh
So ever
wow.
since then, the grass barely came back as nearly as high. It was just like normal size from that point forward, which was perfect. And thank God I did this.
Well, they could have used you when I was growing up, man.
So I didn't have any encounters within the first month, but I was hearing some pretty crazy stories. The landlord, I mentioned this to you before, that one day I came home from work and he was giving us these strange warnings of like, do not go outside at night because it's dangerous. I knew the things he were telling me were excuses because I had no reason to think it was a dangerous neighborhood. It was very peaceful like that. It was nice houses. I knew it wasn't like a place of that sort of riffraff. Um,
Thank you so much.
so
Yeah, go ahead,
um,
brother.
he said, there,
I'm
watch out for gang
still, I'm
members.
still just,
Huh?
I'm still just, you know, trying to see you pushing that old timey push mower through that high grass. I'm just trying to picture that in my mind. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm pretty sure it might have looked silly or stupid for that matter, but I thought about it this way. It's
Tough.
either I come home late at night one day and something is there. That's not a surprise you want to have, especially
Right.
if you have no reason to like suspect it. That's a very unwelcoming surprise. So I felt like screw it, cutting this grass in the heat. It's a small price to pay because yeah, I mean, what better time would be to cut it at night? Of course, right? Because it'd be darker, not as hot, but it can be too late by then. I'm not trying to be walking through that grass late at night trying to
That's
cut it.
crazy. Kentucky Boy 22, 22, I need to talk to you. So if you don't mind, get in touch with me.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry about that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
just
go ahead,
basically
brother.
plowed through that grass. I didn't care. I plowed through it. I picked everything up by hand, put it in a trash bag, and I got rid of it. And I basically just, as they say, when you do a job you don't want to do, you just put your head
Mm,
down, just get it done. That was the
right.
mentality. So I didn't really care. I really did. It was safety over stupidity, and I was like, screw it, man. Like I'd rather just look dumb now, but be smart for it later.
Right. Yes,
So
for sure.
um, the day of the encounter, I did think back on how I cut the grass, and I was thanking God that I did. But so anyways, back to the warnings that I was given. The landlord was saying that there were gang members outside. There people are like getting robbed and beat up, and just be careful. I completely ignored those warnings. I felt like I'll be fine. Like I grew up in a lot of bad neighborhoods up until that point. That was the first time I'm, living in a very decent neighborhood. I felt like, shoot, I'd be okay. I work out like three,
Right.
4 hours a day every day. Like I think I'd be just fine. Um, so my best friend used to come over all the time. So it was me, my best friend, and my ex-wife. At the time, she was just a girlfriend, but she became the fiance within that time period of me living there. My roommate, we saw him every once in a while. We had parties, but I didn't come home with him on a daily basis because we worked two different locations. I mean, I just knew the guy because I had to live with him. I wasn't like friends with him. Um, so anyway, so late at night, my best friend and I and my kid's mom, what we would do is we would take late night walks to 7-Eleven. Like to us, that was like it was perfect. There was no parents telling us what we could or could not do, so we would be up all night just going around doing whatever we wanted to do because we didn't think there was any danger, and it was three of us. So I was like, perfect. But yeah, one day I came home and he was just like, if you see anything, let me know. I have a 4 or 5. If you see anything at all, let me know. So I didn't make sense at the time when he mentioned that what kind of gun he had and if you see anything. I'm thinking, well, hey, if I'm out and about, if something does happen to me, there's no way I can relay this information to you from the distance I'm at and hope to God you show up and come save my life. I just have to deal
Right.
with it, just tough it out. Like screw it. I mean, I chose to go out there. So with that being said, I literally ignored the warnings and didn't even think twice about it. I didn't put any clues together. I didn't think about, maybe there's something suspicious behind him saying these things. So the roommate and the landlord were already in this deep conversation. So when I showed up, they got hush hush as if like I was too young to hear the details. That's how they were acting. I was 19 at the time, so I wasn't that young. Um, and then that's when he mentioned about the gang members. I have a 4 or 5, and I was like, okay, cool, that's cool. All right, bro. So I walked past him and went in the house. I felt like I was not welcome completely in that conversation. So I kept it moving. It had nothing to do with me. It's the way I saw it. Um, so um, the first few warning signs. Now I'm gonna say this to all the viewers out there, bro. Like sometimes you get warning signs and you're very skeptical because there isn't a lot of proof as like mainstream proof that say that these things are real. So
Yeah.
you may get some warning signs and not think anything of it, and you think that it's not a big deal. Like I did. I mean, I feel very naive looking back on these things, but there was quite a few warning signs that I just looked to the opposite way. So we had I think our first encounters started taking place in the wintertime. So we was there during the summer, so they didn't take place until like the winter, I believe. So I remember my first warning sign was it snowed really, really nicely, I want to say. The snow was about maybe 3 to 4 feet tall, maybe like 3 feet, not four, but 3 feet tall. And it was everywhere and it looked very enchanted within that area. Because no one came outside at night usually. So nighttime was if you went out there, it was just you and or you and yourself or whoever you with. There was really no none of the neighbors outside. So me and my ex-wife, we were out playing in the snow, and the street lights and everything was hitting the snow nicely. It looked like some wonderland, and we're just having a really good time. And out of nowhere, bro, no joke, I had this feeling that we were being watched. I didn't tell her, but I knew in my heart that something was watching us, and I thought, well, if it's a person, no big deal. Like, I mean, like, I'm not gonna say what my thoughts were if it was a person, but I was like, it's no big deal. But something just felt like spiritually wrong. Like it was just too perfect, and things were really quiet at one point. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
super quiet. Like it kind of hurts a little bit to accept that, and
Yeah.
that was a warning sign to me because I already felt safe, but it felt too safe to be safe, if that makes any sense. That's when I realized we might be in a little bit of danger, but I have no proof of it. And I have no reason to to just be like, hey, this is, what's going on. We should get back in the house. I just ignored it. We kept playing around, but I kept a watchful eye on the surrounding area because she's not really perceptive to these things. But I
Mm.
was, and I thought like I should be on guard. We're having fun, everything looks peaceful, but something tells me something ain't right. Nothing happened
Yeah.
that night. So down the road, my landlord, he had a bench press on the front porch. I used to go out there and bench press every night. Well, most nights, about like 3, 4 times a week. If I didn't hit the gym, or if I did hit the gym, I would still do that. Because I worked at a hotel at the time, and we had a gym located on the premise. So I would go there about 3, 4 hours a day before work, and then go to work, and then get off work, and then I'll probably check in with the wife, then go bench press. Okay, let me clarify. During that time period, she wasn't my wife. She was pregnant, and then after the baby was born, we got married because I'm pretty traditional. It didn't work out
Well,
long term, but I am pretty traditional. So
that's respectable of you.
yeah,
It really is.
yes, sir.
Too many kids growing up without a daddy these
Yeah,
days,
it's
and
not.
you see what the result of that is, right?
Yeah, I do. My dad was just talking to me about this a few weeks ago, last week. And he said he always, when I was a kid, he used to always tell me like the best three things a man can do in life, get married, have kids, and have a roof over your head. Make it work is what his
Yeah.
motto was. Make it work. So
Sounds
that
like a
was,
wise man.
yeah, that was long-term goals for me for a long time. So when it became true, I was very excited about it. I didn't hesitate the opportunity to marry the woman because to me, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, it was like programming. It was, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. I thought that was a really good thing to do. But anyways, so she would be inside. I'll be out there working out. And if any of you guys have seen the movie American Werewolf in London, that was the first howl I've heard in a movie that was identical to what I heard that night. I was
Really?
outside bench pressing. Yeah. So when I heard it, I thought, no freaking way. That's not what I think it is. There's no way that's what I
Well,
think it is.
there
So
wasn't
I
no
kept,
coyote, huh?
yeah, you say what?
I said that you knew that wasn't a coyote, right?
Oh, there was no way, no coyote. It was too identical. Also, the time, the amount of time it took to from start to finish of the howl was abnormally long, and the sound of it was from a good distance, maybe like about 3 4 blocks away. It was just a long, maybe 30 to 40 second howl,
Wow.
and it was
We
a
got a quick
powerful.
question. Quick
I'm
question. I'm
sorry.
sorry to interrupt you. Where did you say you was living at this time? Lone Star
Tacoma,
City?
Tacoma Park, Maryland, right next. Well, I don't know if I should give the exact details, but
No.
Yeah,
Tacoma
you don't
Park,
have
Maryland.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're
I was
fine.
just trying to get that before I lost it.
Yeah. I think it. I don't know which one, but I think they still roam in that area. I'll share some details about that in a bit after the story, I guess. But
Okay.
anyways, so I heard that how it happened about a good 3 4 times. It was very nostalgic. It brought back memories of the movie, and I'm thinking like it's not a Rottweiler, that's not a dog. It was like a howl slash yell with a growl somehow mixed into it. But if you um look at the movie, that first scene where those two boys got caught in the moors
Yeah.
after they leave the slaughtered lamb, that's what it sounded like. And that's how, I mean, if you've seen the movie, it's scary. I know it's old school and everything, but that's kind of how I felt, except for with a bit of like excitement and happiness. Like I don't know. It's like I've always had like this fear that werewolves were real. I didn't think that would be something I would run into, but um, that would probably be like my biggest fear of like going out at night and just like
Mhm.
as a young guy, young teenage guy, whatever, and just because it's the one thing you don't expect it and you don't see it coming. You can't take it on. You can't like fight your way out of that sort of thing because it's going. If it ever happens, even in the movies, it's always an unexpected occurrence.
Right.
So being that I was at the house, I didn't feel like I was in danger because I could just run back to where I live. Since I was much younger, I felt like I would get back to the house in time, considering I was on the property. So I sat and I listened to it, and I thought to myself, if this is really what it is, no, it can't be. But is it? If it is, like, should I be worried? And I was like, all right, I don't know. So that first night, obviously I didn't investigate. I told my kid's mom, I was like, hey, look, um, this is what I heard outside last night, and this is what it sounded like. And I told her about the movie. I don't think she's ever seen it, but I told her what I heard. She was like, well, next time you hear this, let me know, and I want to hear it too. So the next day, I'm out there, I'm working out, I'm bench pressing, and around the same time of day, it happened again. So I thought, okay, I'm definitely going to tell her. She needs to hear this because I am not crazy. Like this is happening. So I run inside as fast as possible. I go and get her. She's in there like cooking my meal prep, and I bring her back outside, and then she didn't even come all the way outside. She stopped halfway. She was like, "Yes, I can hear it. Why are you still outside?"
Wow.
So bro, like she comes back outside mid howl. I don't know which number the thing was on at this point, and she didn't even hesitate to go back inside. She's like, "Why are you out here listening to it? Get inside." I was like, all right, I'll come back inside when it's finished. I wanted to like, I wanted to hear like from start to finish of how long this is going to go on. I was analyzing how serious this potential threat could be. I have no proof of me, assuming that it is what it is.
Right.
However, this bit of information may be important, I guess, for the listeners. Everyone has different points of views. So before I moved there, I had like this strong desire to research the possibility of werewolves. I know it's crazy. Back in those days, internet was like cell phones wasn't what they are now. So
Right.
I had like this inclination to want to know more. Like, should I be worried about that? Are these things real? Are there any true sightings? I came across one site. The site did shake down some information for me. They say that these things can range anywhere from 4 to 500 pounds. They stand anywhere from 7 to 8 feet, or sometimes up to 9 feet. They're super intelligent, high sense of hearing, great sense of smell. That was about the gist of what I remember. It was more like a police description of like a mugshot of one of these things. That's kind of what it felt like reading it. And I wasn't too sure if I should take the website seriously because I felt like it was a fan created thing around lore.
Yeah.
But when the encounter first completely hit home for me, I realized though that information was pretty accurate. So, anyway, so that's just something I wanted to put out there. So back to the second day of bench pressing, I'm hearing the howl. She goes back inside. I continue doing my thing, and then at some point I had enough. I guess the thing got tired and stopped, and I went inside, still like flabbergasted that this happened the second night. I didn't think I was in any danger though. So from that day forward, we had quite a few visits on a daily basis. Uh, and once again, this was part of the warning signs leading up to the actual encounter. So what happened was I eventually had got DirecTV at some point, and when I did, I would usually get home around 11:30 p.m. at night, and we had a TV show that we would watch every day called Inuyasha. She would pre-record it on the DVR, and so when I get home, we would watch it together. Every night when we would watch it together at around midnight-ish, um, we would hear footsteps on the roof. Oh
Oh
my
wow.
God, it's funny looking back on it because she used to always ask like every night, like who or what is on the roof right now? This is after the house. Like, so we should have suspected something. And I was so foolish. I told her that that was probably the landlord checking the roof to make sure everything was okay. And this would
Right.
go on like,
Midnight.
I'm sorry.
I said at midnight.
Yeah, that was so dumb of me. She looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, I know more than you do. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm right. So this is for the guys when their wife say they're right. Sometimes they are right, man. And maybe not more times than wrong. So,
Yes.
uh,
I agree.
so
I
listen
agree.
to listen to your woman. Uh, so, dude, it was so dumb. I was like, don't worry, I know what I'm talking about. So wrong. And on top of this, so before we had the direct TV and I heard the footsteps, I actually was on the roof because DirecTV told us no multiple times that they were not willing to come out and give us the service because we had too many trees in the area, so we wouldn't reach their satellite. So uh, I called like I don't know 6, 7 times. I eventually got used to like how they tell me no, and I started to rebuttal everything they say, and I convinced them to come out. And when they did, they's like, all right, we'll try. If it don't work, then you're not gonna get it. That's what the lady, she had an attitude. And I was like, don't worry, I'll be up there with him. I'll find the location. I have no experience with doing this, by the way. But I told her I would find it. So the guy shows up. We both go up there. I go up on the ladder first because he brought his own ladder. I go up the ladder first. I'm determined, like I'll find the signal myself, Mr. Know-it-all. I get up there and I'm surprised by like these huge, like about that size, 12-inch piles of poop everywhere, all over the freaking roof. So every step
Really?
you take is stepping over a gigantic, uh, I don't know if I want to say horse, cow, or bull sized poop. You're stepping over
Wow.
that. And you're clearly well over 10 to 11 feet off the ground. Like this roof is like well up there. It's up there. So that was extremely embarrassing after I pressed this company to come bring me service. That was very embarrassing. So I'm up there with my hands out like this. I'm just like, what the, what's going on? I look
Right.
back, expecting to see the same surprised look on the technician's face. The guy was not surprised. He literally gets up there and starts going to work on a specific spot as if like he just know like where the exact signal is. He didn't bother to look around. He didn't do any checking like they told me they would do. He just got straight to it. Not once did he look around. He didn't question anything. He said nothing. He was so focused on just getting it done and leaving. It was almost like he knew something I didn't know.
Right. Like he's
And
seen that before, right? He wasn't surprised at that. Is what you're
yeah, he
saying?
didn't seem surprised at all. I was like,
Right.
I was happy that he wasn't surprised to a degree because I'm like, all right, well, this is embarrassing. I can't explain it because I didn't do it, and there's really no explanation. Um, it's a very embarrassing thing to go through. So, with all that being said, he finished up the job. He's like, hey, I found the signal. You're good to go. You have a strong signal. And he goes down. It took him less than 4 minutes, like maybe 5 minutes tops. I didn't even have to help
Wow.
him. I'm just like up there freaked out because this is embarrassing because I begged this guy to come out here, and I don't know why this is on my roof. So this took place before I heard the footsteps, or at least before I noticed them. Anyways, I don't remember noticing them beforehand. I just know that every night around the same time we would watch that cartoon, and that's when we heard the footsteps. And even then, oh man, this is so dumb. I was still telling her that's probably the landlord. I completely forgot about the piles of poop. I forgot about that. All I knew was I wanted my HDTV, and then I just had excuses for everything that didn't make sense. So one day I got like a rude awakening. I come home from work. I'm like dead tired. I mean, like so tired. I played no Xbox, no video games. I didn't want to watch any TV. I got in bed and I went straight to sleep. And but at this point, she was like a couple months pregnant, so like she was tired already, and she just went to sleep too. So I was in bed before midnight. I think around somewhere between like I don't know what time I woke up. I want to say 3 a.m., but I don't think that was the case because the encounter was over around about six a.m. to 6:30 ish. So I'm not sure exactly what time it showed up. So all I remember was I was in a very terribly tired state when I went to bed, and within a few hours, like I mean less than 5 hours of sleeping, I'm guessing, I wake up completely focused, completely energized. Not in the sense that I want to just go get things done, but I felt super sharp, like cognitively. I felt sharp. I felt um, very alert and self-aware. And I thought that was strange because I would have needed way more hours than that to be like this. Also, there was no brain fog from waking up. That was another red flag for me. I thought I'm thinking to myself like, why would I wake up like this, super alert, very aware, and there's no threat? That's weird. I didn't have any. I didn't. Well, I'm very spiritual as well. So if something bad is going on around me, usually I can sense it before it gets too bad. I sensed nothing, like nothing. I just remember it being complete silence, and I thought the silence was a bit weird. Like there was no external noises. Like I didn't hear the crickets outside. At this point in time in my life, I didn't know that this dead silence means that there's a predator nearby. I didn't know that. I just
Right.
knew that I could hear a pin drop if something like that had fell. So I try to lay back down, close my eyes, and think to myself, it's not a big deal. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I didn't know what to tell myself. I just laid back down. And then in the back of my mind, I tell myself, you know what? Just be careful. Like, stay awake. Stay focused. Something don't seem right because there's no way I should be this focused. Like, stay alert. Something may not be right because I felt like there was no danger. I felt like that safety I felt before in the snow. I felt that again. And I thought, if I'm safe, then why am I alert? And then this is where everything goes to haywire. Right as I'm like trying to convince myself, maybe there's nothing to worry about. Less than a minute passes. I hear like the loudest, craziest sound ever. So basically, what happened is there's a fence dividing my backyard with the neighbor's backyard. A long, not I don't want to say chain, so a long metal fence, maybe like 4 feet tall.
Mm.
This fence got, I want to say the fence never got damaged, by the way. So it might be a little weird when I use the words I'm going to use for this. It sounded as if someone was ripping into that fence with like amazing strength. Like someone took the entire fence and just balled it up really quickly, like extremely fast. That fence sounded like it was being tortured within like a 2 to 3 second time frame. Like it happened that fast. And then I hear like this thing. Well, we know what it all is now, but like this thing lands in the other side of where my yard is, and it sounds like I don't know, like whatever it was had to be like 400 to 500 pounds, because you could hear like this every step of the body weight landing and having a I guess like what's the word, like reverberation into the ground. You can hear like the sound of its weight going through the ground. And I thought, what the heck could that be? And at this point, I never, I didn't put any of the clues together. I didn't think about the poop that's on the roof. I didn't think about the footsteps. I did not think about, what do you call it? The howling. None of that crossed my mind. And so while I'm there trying to put the pieces together, all that information just escaped me for some reason. I'm thinking, what could this be? Because, well, like what known predator could do this? Because when it landed, it had some growling to it, like some deep growling. And I'm thinking, all right, mountain lion. Nope, that there's no way. It sounded way too big and large for it to be like a mountain lion. That made no sense. And two, I don't see why a mountain lion would have the power to do what what sounded like happened to that gate. It sounded like someone just condensed it really hard. So obviously not a coyote. That completely rules that out. There's no dog that can do this. So the worst case scenario that I did think of was like werewolf. That's my thought. I didn't want to accept that thought too much because I figured if I entertained that, I would have been petrified. So I was trying to like think of anything else but that. But so many clues were leading up to that as I hear it running back and forth. This thing had the time of his life back there for that couple of hours or that 1 hour. I'm not sure how long it lasted for, but it had fun terrorizing that backyard. So it lands after crushing that fence. It lands over it. It runs, sniffs around, snorts, and then like at lightning speeds, run from our backyard to the other side. And the other guy's backyard was much longer. I can hear it going to the other side, to the far end, and straight back to my other side, and like really quickly, like back and back, like it's like someone's playing ping pong with the creature itself. It was just going back and forth, and like it was like it took no time to stop to make a complete U-turn before it came back again. I don't know how it was managing these U-turns, but it sounded as if like it just zigzag back and forth.
Mhm.
And that was the most terrifying part for me because the speed was one, the weight was one, and the sound of that fence was just horrifying because I know the fence is not a living thing, but I really, really felt bad for it. I'm gonna be honest with you. It sounded terrifying. I'm like, dear God, what did the fence do to you? And then at some point, it completely lands in the backyard of my backyard, and it stops going back and forth. I can hear it sniffing around. Sorry for not looking at the camera. I'm visualizing everything as it took place.
Okay.
I remember it like it was yesterday. So, anyways, it's sniffing around in the backyard, and it's like snorting, growling, sniffing, sneezing, snorting, like over and over again, and growling. And I didn't feel like it was after anyone specifically. I didn't think like, oh yeah, this thing's being curious, it's going to break in. That never crossed my mind. I mean, I knew that there was a possibility because a few times I can tell the difference of the way things sounded when it was on all fours versus it on 2 feet. When it was on 2 feet, I'm on the second floor. And let me just give you guys some context here. I have an AC in the window. So the AC was above my head. My bed was against let's just say the not floorboard. The backboard was the wall itself, and the window was where I was sleeping. She was on the side where the window was not. So she was on the safety side. And I felt like, okay, so when this thing is walking past, I can hear like the breathing coming from his mouth, growling. It it never sounded as if the growling was facing the window. It always sounded like it was facing the direction it was walking, and it was going back and forth like that. and whichever way its head was facing, that's the way it was growling. So I never got the impression that it was sniffing my window, licking my window, or anything creepy like that. Um, and occasionally it would get down on all fours and do the same thing, but it sounded like it was sniffing the ground. Uh, I can't explain why that would be the case. I think about it a lot, but I don't know why I was sniffing the ground. But it would do that, snort, sneeze a couple times. Like the sneezing was like insane. This thing had some massive lungs. Like the small growls gave me a decent visualization of how big the chest must have been. Now I did see it towards the end of the encounter, but at this point everything was just audio. I didn't feel comfortable getting up to look out the window. I was curious. Um, but I just thought to myself, since I don't know what I'm dealing with, I think that'd be really pretty dumb to try to make it obvious that I'm paying attention. Um, and two, I thought, well, if this thing is malicious, it could easily push in the AC and reach in and well, in my mind, I was thinking it might reach in and like try to grab around for whoever it could grab, assuming me if it caught me looking. And if I moved out of the way, she would be in danger because she's still sleeping through the entire process. She never woke up, which I don't
Wow.
know how. Yeah, so, uh, well, I don't know. My dad he's telling me stories about like sometimes when things like this happen late at night, there's usually one of the people that wake up. Like, let's just say it's a couple. There's usually one person that wakes up, and the other person seems to be in like this really deep sleep that's not normal.
Mhm.
So she was definitely in that state of sleep, and I didn't want to move to do anything that would have triggered this thing to react negatively, because then I would leave her in danger, which would make me responsible because I could have just stayed still, which is what I did. Um, and I didn't like the part of staying still because I was awake the entire time, which I felt like I felt vulnerable. So I was very terrified for that. I couldn't like stand out the way and look from a distance because, like I said, she would be in danger. So I had to tough it out. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I had to tough it out, man. So, anyways, this thing is just growling, and it sounded like it was getting angry after every sniff. Like it would sniff few times, snort, and then like give like an angry growl as if like he wasn't finding what he was looking for, which was weird. I don't know why or what he was looking for. So this go on for quite a while. I mean, a very decent long time. Um, I eventually prayed toward the end of the encounter. I always forget that part, but I don't know. I was pretty freaked out, so I ended up praying to Jesus. The moment I did that, no joke, it was like Jesus was like a flashlight. The moment I said Jesus in my mind, the guys downstairs below me flipped on their bedroom light. The whole backyard lights up. So in my mind, the moment I say Jesus, the whole backyard just lights up in light because their light was on. And the guys downstairs, they're like Latino, so they're yelling El Diablo, El Diablo, El Diablo. At this point, I felt liberated. I'm like, thank God, it's not just me now. I can get up and look. So I got up and look. I got up and look immediately. I didn't want to miss out on like seeing what it was. Um, I mean, I felt like at this point, this might sound mean, but this is what I thought. Well, you see, if their light is on and they're yelling, which I was not, and my light was not on, if it wanted to retaliate because we're all looking, it had options. So maybe I wasn't going to be the first option. So when I looked out the window, I knew they had to be doing the same thing. So I knew it wasn't going to like try to attack both windows at the same time if that was going to be the case. So I felt comfortable to look. I was like, hey, man, if you're going to attack somebody, it might be me, might not be me, but I'm going to look. So I looked and I didn't hear it leave the backyard. But by the time I looked, it was already out the backyard. It was, so it came from, how do you say, so behind me, it came from the left. If I was laying down with the window behind me, it came from the left and it completely left out through the left over another fence. And this is when I got to see it. So basically, this fence is, I don't know how to say it. There was like a stone hinge in the backyard of us. And above that stone hinge was a wooden, like a wooden fence. Like it looks like giant stakes in the ground, but they're all connected. It looks very nice. It's brown. So on
Mhm.
the other side of that backyard, everything's leveled for that height above that stone ridge or the stone thing, whatever it was. And so I know that the fence is taller than me because that after the encounter, I went out and measured my height versus that fence, and it was just slightly above my head. This thing, when it was leaving, all you see is like the shoulders, the traps, and the back of the body. So it's basically just a huge silhouette, because the light was in front of it. So for me, I couldn't see very many details. So everything's like a giant black shadow, but it's less
Mhm.
than like 10 feet away. So, and it has like this head, like this huge head with ears on top of his head. Like, well, my camera's making me do it weird, but straight up, it's straight up. So,
Mhm.
anyways, this thing is like massively buff. So if you want a good representation of how this thing looked exactly to the T, the movie Van Helsing, the one that he turned into, the Black Werewolf, that's exactly how it looked. Muscle definition and all. That's exactly how he looked. Hands down. It was like a majestic looking thing. So it wasn't like one of those other horrifying movies where like the werewolves are all grotesque and it's just extra scary for no reason. This thing looked like from the movie, like Hollywood, straight from Hollywood. Like,
Yeah. I've had lots of people tell me the exact same thing, Cornell. It's kind of strange. They said it looked like the werewolf from uh, Van Helsing. So
yeah.
several people have said that. Yes.
Uh, it was very impressive. He looked over his shoulder. He looked at me. I'm guessing it was a guy. I mean, not a guy, a male. But judging by the muscle tone and all that, I didn't think it was a female. Um, I've seen there's like this. There's a I think on YouTube there's a video of some German soldiers who killed a female version, and they have a slimmer body type, like an hourglass sort of physique. Um, I don't know. I'm guessing the people have seen this video. It's pretty well known. It was either on the History Channel or like the ANG channel, something like that. But there's a clip of it on YouTube, and they shot and killed the thing, and it was they have like full video. Like you get to see the entire thing. Nothing's blurred out, so you can see like all of her. You can see her breast and everything like that. So the upper breast looks like a female's breast, but on the abdomen, like where her abs were at, it's like dog breast. And you can see like the hands. You can see like the face area was pretty hideous. Not gonna lie, it didn't look nearly as cool as the one I seen. And it did have like hair similar to a woman, but like very unkept. Um, and the thing looked like it was about at least 7 feet tall. They shot the heck out of it. So and his body was stiffed up like how a deer was. Like if you ever seen a deer on the side of the road after it's been hit by a car, the body get real stiff. That's how this thing looked after these soldiers killed it. But neither here nor there. I assumed that the one I seen was a male. So the moment I looked out the window, I looked to the left, and it was almost like a psychic kind of connection because he looks over his shoulder to acknowledge the fact that I'm looking like immediately the moment I look over. And he has like this really confident and cocky walk, like a swole dude, like a bouncer or something. And he walks off like, "What are you gonna do about it? Like, what are any of you gonna do about it? Like, I'm leaving because you got your light on. Probably because I prayed. That might be another reason he left. But he left like I'm leaving because I'm choosing to, not because someone's making me do it. So I don't need
Right.
to run off. I can walk away. It definitely showed a level of intelligence. Like I know that you're watching,
It
and it
somehow
doesn't
knew
bother
that
me.
you were watching it. Yeah, that you were looking at it.
Yeah. So he looked back at me. I didn't see any eye shine. I've had quite a few encounters where I did see eye shine. I did not smell anything, nothing like that. I don't know if they can turn the eye shine on and off. I'm guessing they can, but he didn't do nothing like that. Nothing weird. He didn't like point at me or nothing. Nothing stupid like that. I mean, I know that these things do this to certain people. I think some people are just easy targets for these things, and they like to see the amount of fear they can get from you.
Hmm.
But I think I was in a mixture of fear and excitement. So I don't know if I was the best candidate. I don't know if I was the best candidate. He was like, "This fool might like this. I don't want to mess with him too much." But so he never came back though. At least not where it was obvious. There was no more footsteps after this day, and after this day, we did some things to create a little bit of extra safety for ourselves. We went out and bought a what's it called? It's not a spotlight, but it's those lights you put it in the back of your yard, and there's any movement, any motion, it turns on. So I went to Home Depot, and well, before I went there, I asked the landlord, could I? put one back there, or if he could do it for me. He said no, because there's no way to like do the electrical work for that based on the way he built the place. He's like, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. But when I asked him, could I do this? Because at this point I was pretty damn serious. I asked him the same day of the encounter. Because so after this thing left, let me back up a little bit. It leaves. I was, you know, kind of worried because she was still in high school. She's from Russia, so she was a grade behind me. I was already graduated, even though we're the same exact age. But she had like one more year left. She had to stay back a year. So that morning, I had to walk her to the bus stop so she can go to school. And I'm thinking, like, bro, like I gotta freaking go out there. And I definitely don't want to tell her what just happened because I don't want to look scared.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
didn't want to mention any details. So uh, I walk her to school in the morning and all that jazz. And she goes. So when she gets to school, well, she got on a train. I didn't go to school with her. I came back home and I immediately started investigating the backyard. I checked the fence. I looked for footprints. I measured my height against that wooden fence to see just like how much taller was this thing over me. I'm just curious. I mean, I knew it was much larger than me, that's for sure. And so that's when I did all like my little research. And then I went to speak to the landlord because I'm thinking, bro, I'm not coming home at night. This thing lurking in the backyard. Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing
How
to be
tall was
inside.
it, Cornell? How tall was
Huh?
the thing?
I'm guessing about, wait, well, how tall was what?
Yeah, the werewolf that you saw.
I'm guessing about, he had to be at least like 8 feet. I'm guessing minimum. I don't know, 8 foot what, but 8 foot minimum.
Okay.
Because he was 2 feet. He was roughly like 2 to 3 feet above that fence. So maybe he could have been like somewhere near 9 feet. Because I remember like I can see like really good uh portion of his upper traps, rear delts, and and his head was like another foot above his muscular area there. So I don't know, maybe like I don't know, maybe another 2 3 feet above that fence. Anyways, so I had to think of I didn't know if I was gonna lie to her about. I mean, it was either I not lie, but it was either I didn't tell her or I had to tell her like what happened, because at some point, if it's going to be a problem, I have to mention it. I just didn't want her to be scared. And I was like, you know what, whatever. I'll just tell her all the details. And I knew if I told the story to her, she would have been freaked out. But whatever, I told the story and she was freaked out. She was like, "What are you gonna do?" I was like, "I got an idea. Let's go to Home Depot." So this is Let me back up a little bit more. So I spoke to the landlord. He told me no, that we couldn't do the spotlight because of electrical work that it would require. So he said no. But he didn't say no as in like a mean way. He just like, hey man, I can't help you. But he looked at me like, you've seen something, did you? That's the way he looked at me. And I didn't think he knew about it though. So when he was giving the warnings, I didn't think that's what he was talking about.
Mhm.
However, when I got to DirecTV, I did notice him a little tidbit. Um, where I was standing, since the house is much bigger than the compartment built on the back, there was a floor on his house that looked directly into a little girl's window. So it was like a little girl's window, man, like all little pink stickers everywhere and Barbie doll stuff.
Right.
The window was wide open, not wide open in terms of like you can get in, but like the curtains were like pulled to the side. So I thought to myself, years later, I thought back on this, and I realized I was like, you know what? This thing must have been visiting quite often long before I got here, and their kids must have seen this. That's why he was being so protective. And I was like, I don't know. Back then, I didn't put those tools together, but in recent years, I used a lot of meditation, and I revisited the memories to relive it, to look for any details that I overlooked, and that was one of them that I came across. I thought that was interesting. I also thought it was interesting that the neighbors didn't come outside at night, but I quickly realized in meditation why they weren't doing it, as I relook at all the details of what I remember, what I felt, and how that all transpired. Um, so it was terrorizing not just our house, but different houses as well. Some nights you would hear the trash cans get mutilated, basically. Like I don't know which neighbor it was, but somebody had metal trash cans, and it sounded like someone was just beating these trash cans with a baseball bat for like 15, 20 minutes straight. Like I mean, just
Wow.
going to town. It sounded like there was some martial artists out there just practicing all night on metal trash cans. That's what it
Crazy.
sounded like.
Uh, How wooded was the area that you lived in, Cornell? Was it in
Um,
the town or in the country or what?
no, it wasn't country. There was, some areas they have like wooded areas, kind of like dividing the neighborhoods. Um,
Mhm.
it- there was a towards the end of the neighborhood, like towards the end of the block, there was a entrance to a trail, which I think leads to Rock Creek. So that entire area of its own is super wooded. But with on the street I lived on, the street adjacent from us was divided by like a I guess like I don't know, maybe like 15 feet of woods across, and then like I don't know, maybe a good 2 blocks down. So there's
Oh,
like a little bit of division with woods, but nothing major. Where like you couldn't cross through on your own, but obviously there's ticks, so why do that? Um,
You gotta love those ticks, man.
yeah, that's funny. No, not for me.
Yeah, me neither.
So, anyways, yeah, I asked him, could we do the spotlight? My man said no. He stared at me with a really concerned look. I didn't really give too too much. I didn't care too much about what he thought about me. I didn't want to look crazy. That was one. And two, the moment he said no, I was like, all right, cool. If I figure out a way to do this myself, is that okay? He says, yeah. Just let me know how it goes for you. And he kind of looked at me like he looked like he was worried, and I was super confident that I was going to figure this problem out. So I didn't. I don't know if I came off scared because I wasn't like I don't know. I just kind of just kept the emotions to myself. I just needed to solve the problem. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't care about like what my fear was. I just need to solve the problem. I don't need it pitch black back there at night every night. I'm solving that problem today, whether he likes it or not. So when she gets out of school, I told her the whole story, and I told her my plan was we're going to Home Depot. So she's like, "Cool, then let's go." So we go to Home Depot. I we found the spotlight. I told the one of the representatives what my plan was. I was like, "Hey, look, I need one of these type of lights. However, um, there's no way I could like do the electrical work myself. Are there any alternatives?" He's like, "Well, not really, but maybe there's one idea. You can, I don't know. Let me see if I can show you. Check this out. There's a fan here, right? And everyone knows how that cord looks on the back of it. You can buy those
Right?
cords by
Got one
themselves.
just like it.
You say what?
I got one just like it.
Yeah, yeah. That thing is. Everyone has these things. They live for a long time. So, but
Mhm.
the cord that's attached to it, you can buy that completely separate with nothing else attached to it. So just like the little 2 wires at the end. So I bought that separately. I bought the spotlight and I took it apart in a certain way, and I connected that wire to it as if like it was a fan. So all we have to do is plug it into the wall, drill on the outside to place it beneath the window, and that's how we got our spotlight. So that's how we ended up putting a spotlight in the backyard. And the rule was, since she didn't work and I did, I just have to call her on my way home, like, "Hey, look, plug in the light. I'm on the way," and she'll plug it in. This way, we're not like just wasting the use of it for no reason. So we'll plug it in, and then also if my best friend came over, we'll plug it in again. We didn't do this for the roommate. It's kind of messed up. He just wasn't in on it. We didn't tell him about what we saw, and I wasn't about to. I was like, I doubt he even believed me. So I was like, yeah, he'll figure it out. So, so I didn't even bother telling that man. He never had any problems from what I've realized. He never complained. Never, to me, I guess he just never had to deal with it. So that's how we got our spotlight. On top of that, we went on eBay and literally bought a night vision camera, and we connected it to my laptop. So we'll leave it outside all night long, let it run, and then um, I don't always recommend doing this part, but we did it anyways. We went out and we went shopping for like some food, like some hot dogs, some random meat and stuff, and we cooked it up nice, real nice, man. We cooked it up like it was for a person. So we
uh-oh.
put it on a plate and we put it outside in the backyard because we knew if we can get it to come back, we wanted the food to smell good. That was the whole point. That's why we cooked it.
Mhm.
So
Right.
she seasoned it up and everything. Like these hot dogs smell good, man. I mean, if it wasn't for the encounter, I think I would have ate it. So we put this plate in the backyard, and we didn't turn on the spotlight. No, we did turn the spotlight on. We left it on. So we figured when it showed up, it would be on camera trying to like, I don't know, eat some hot dogs. It never took the bait ever. However, this was a few days of trying this. We just kind of got tired of it because all we were attracting were like foxes, raccoons, like basic stuff. Nothing majestic. Um, so what it came down to was we just gave up on the night vision idea because he just wouldn't come back. Maybe I mean I felt like after he knew what I was up to, he just like this dude's up to something. So he just never came back. However, baby version did come back, a young one. However, it wasn't due to me leaving food in the backyard. It was actually due to my roommate leaving 2 bags of trash at the top of our stairs, and there was like food in there from like different parties we were having, and God knows whatever else, but just leftover food. So one night I'm playing Xbox. I used to be a huge Halo fan back in the day, so I'm in my room. In my room, the door's open. She's asleep behind me on the bed. Very small room. So I'm facing where the window is in the living room. Now this window is wide open, like no screen, just wide open. Like a cat could jump in. So I mean, I just feel like I should have known better after all this, but I was still taking chances. So I'm playing the game, I'm practicing or whatever, and I hear like these tiny footsteps. Not tiny as in like tiny feet. I'm guessing what I heard was the claws, but in my mind, what I thought was it was like a woman with high heels. And I hear this person taking their time coming up the stairs. I'm like, ooh, wait, somebody about to get caught cheating. So not me, 'cause I'm thinking it's the roommate. So because he's like known for having multiple girls. So I'm thinking one of his girlfriends either sneaking over to visit, or this is around 3 in the morning too, or she's coming over to catch him in the act. I wasn't even sure if he was home, but I'm thinking like, man, I wonder if she's fine. That's all I was thinking. So the moment I hear it coming up the stairs, I pause the game. I'm anticipating like from the sound of the steps to where it's going to eventually meet the window. What came past the window was not a woman. So that was a huge surprise. Huge
Right.
surprise. Yeah, this thing had like a really long head. It like the shape of a cow's head. So it wasn't very similar to the actual Dogman. So I could be wrong. This could be like something completely different, but it was not small. It was about 4 feet. It was like hunched over. It did have like a dog-like shaped head. The ears were smaller. Well, I only saw one side, but like a little bit smaller on the side of his head. It did look skittish, like it didn't want to get caught doing what it was doing, which was fair. I didn't get any negative energy from it, nothing like that. It felt like a regular creature trying to grab a snack, like a raccoon would. Except for raccoon's a bit more bold. This thing was acting like, "Hey, I don't want to get arrested. I just want a bite to eat." That's how he was acting. So the moment I see it, I'm like, "Bro, that's weird." So I reach behind me. She's laying down in the bed. And I shake her leg gently. I'm like, "Hey, get up, get up, get up." And she didn't want to move at first. And then I'm looking at it. So I'm facing this way. I'm shaking her leg. She still didn't move. So I really, really wanted her to see this because this is like the second time something crazy has happened here. So I just shook her leg real hard. And then she's like, what do you want? And she turns around doing that. And when she did that, I looked at her, I looked back at the window. And the moment, the moment I look at the window, this thing snaps its head, looks at me. We're both just like two deers in the headlight. I'm like, and then she's like, what do you want? She's like yelling at me. And she didn't look out the window. I don't know why, but she just yelling at me. So I look back at her. I'm like, I was just like, screw it. I'm like, hey, look, it's like, I was like, look at the window. The moment I point back at the window, I hear this thing like tearing down the stairs. It wasn't being quiet and sneaky no more. It just ran down the stairs. And I was a little upset that she scared it off. So the only thing I thought to do was chase after it. So the moment it took off, I took off after it. Like I got up so fast, I ran to the front door, had the door open before like I don't know. That was just weird. I was just after it. And I'm on the
What
top of
did
the
it look
stairs.
like, Cornell? When it turned around and looked at you, what did it look like?
It had like some some beady looking eyes. At this point when his head was long. I can't show you how long was my camera, but as a long head, it faces me and the look of it was like a skinny the arms were skinny, like a T-Rex type arms. They were long, but the way he had it to his chest like this, because when it came up the stairs, it was hunched over and it had long claws at the tip of his fingers. and it was like trying to like scratch through the bag and open it to get whatever was in it. So when she, freaked out, this thing snaps its head, looks at me. We look at the same time, and there was light outside from, I guess, like the either the moon or what, but like it's it's basically just giving me like a silhouette of it. So I don't get to see any major colors, nothing like that, no major details. I just know that it's there because I mean it's pretty obvious. And then when I chased out after it, it was already down into the darkness. At the end of the stairs, I'm guessing this thing ran to the left to where I would have to go into the backyard to see how much further it went. But the spotlight wasn't plugged up because we were already in the house. There was no reason to have it on. So I didn't bother going any further past the first two steps. I was like, yeah, I'm good. Um, just in case, like it is a baby, which I assumed it was, or a young one of God knows what. I didn't want to run into pops or moms because I'm chasing someone's child like I'm up to no good. So I didn't want to be in that circumstance at all. No, I let it be, and it got away. It was clearly scared. We startled it, and the worst thing I could do is chase it to the point where Dad's like, "Oh, so you chasing my kid?" Nope, not me. I was not about to put myself in that situation. No. So I came back inside. I was just mad that she didn't get a chance to see it. So, anyways, that's how Tacoma Park ended. We ended up we ended up accepting some assistance from our in-laws. They got us an apartment down in Georgetown, DC, in Glover Park. Um, I didn't want to take their help because they were like really manipulative people. Um, that's what it is. So for the longest, I kept saying no. I didn't want their help. We'll figure things out on our own. But after that encounter, we had to make some sort of decision. Do we keep living there, or do we leave? So the reason we left that area was because of the encounters. Even though after those two, there was no more activity. Um, but we still left, and we moved to Glover Park. And when we got to Glover Park, we definitely lived across from the woods, like no doubt about it. It was just nothing but straight woods, because that led straight into Rock Creek. So at night, I'm guessing, not I'm guessing, but I'm assuming these things were coyotes or maybe coy wolves. I don't know what they were, um, but on a frequent basis, you'll hear like maybe 7 to 8 of these different creatures making these like I want to say dog-like sounds. I don't know what they were. I'm not sure if they were coyotes. I'm not entirely certain because I'm just not entirely certain. I'm not sure what they are. I just knew it was like a large group of them, and they would make a lot of noise at night. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they were.
Wow.
So
Did it sound like cloudies or did it sound
I'm not too.
canine?
I'm not. I'm not too sure what they were because we had a few other encounters in that area that um, were pretty creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what they were. I'm not going to say that they're coyotes. I'm not going to say that they were or they were not. I just know that it was a group of them and they would come through every once in a while. So I don't know what the heck they were. However, so there's a few other encounters I had with Dogman. Um, now the other encounters I didn't. So I think there's three additional encounters I'll try to add to this before too much time goes by. So I have two sons. They're huge fans of shows like these. We've heard countless shows from the time they've been old enough to listen and know what's going on. And they've heard my encounter, God knows how many times, because they've always asked questions. Did this happen? Did that happen? And so one day, well, eventually we end up having our own encounters together. One was well, I feel bad about this one, but not too bad. I felt like I wouldn't be in danger, so I did this. This is what I did. I was visiting them at the, I don't, we're not, me and mom not together anymore, so it's what it is. So we got divorced about 10 years ago. Anyways, I still visit though. I was visiting them. I was at their place, and it was like maybe like 9, 10 p.m. I'm in the bathroom. I'm finishing up. I had to wash my hands, and I had like this thought. I don't know if it was mind speak or not, but it must have been because I wasn't thinking about this. I had this impression that there was a female Dogman nearby. Um, Honestly, I felt like she was in a tree because in that bathroom, the window is to the right here, and there's a courtyard. There's a tree right there. If not for the screen and the window, you can reach out and touch the leaves and branches and all that stuff. It's a pretty thick, big tree. I had this thought that she was in the tree. I didn't see none of this, and there was no growls, nothing like that. It was just a thought, and she wanted me to meet her kids and for her family to see my family. That's the thought I got. I know that sounds crazy, and it's gonna be interesting. So that was the thought I got. She was like, "Do you want to come out and say hi?" That's kind of the impression I got. So I responded verbally, and I was like, "Okay, well, if you're out there, we'll come visit." And it was like a meetup. I didn't go to the courtyard. We went to a different area. It was almost like when I say we, I mean like me, my kids, and also them. Kind of knew where to meet up, and that's what we did. So I leave the bathroom, and I'm like, I remember drying my hands off the paper towel. I was like, hey, to my sons, I was like, hey, do you guys want to go out and check out some Dogman? I think they're in the area. They didn't waste no time. They didn't even hesitate. They got their shoes, like, let's go, let's go out there. And I told them like why I assumed that this would be the case. I was like, hey, I think I was just contacted by a female one, and she wants to like see us. Like it wasn't like a malicious thing, like, oh man, like it's trying to set me up. I didn't get that impression. Um, and at this point, there was no major proof. I just knew that that's how it felt when I got the thought, and I agreed. I was like, yeah, I'll come out there. So they said yes. We go out there. We walk down to they live at a different place in Glover Park now, but we walk down to the old apartment in Glover Park. So we end up having two over there. We left from one and moved to a better one. And so we walked back down to the old one, which led straight into that thick woods where I would hear like that group of, let's just say coyotes making those noises. So we walked there, and then there's an opening to a trail, and I walked in, and that's how that went down. So the main street is like uh, parking for cars on the main street, like, I don't know, hundreds of cars, not hundreds, but like, like I don't know, a couple, maybe 200 cars, all in a row up and down this really long street. I'm not gonna say what street, but anyways, I go into the woods first. They were like kind of skeptical because the woods were dark. I'm not gonna lie, the street light only went so far into the darkness, and I was like, all right, I'll go first. So I walk in, I walk to the edge of the light, and I came back. I was like, all right, cool. I'm a little scared too, but let's go check it out. They're like, all right. So they like, I guess they kind of just see me as brave, so they take after that. So I walked in past the light, and I walked all the way in to where it was dark. Even though it was dark, your eyes can adjust, so it wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see myself or my hands or anything like that. So my youngest son, he comes in with me. He's like directly in front of me. The oldest, he's like maybe 5, 6 feet away. He's like just starting to get in before they make their presence known. So right as my back was turned to the one that was behind me. So right as my youngest son gets in, the woods kind of got quiet, and everyone's just looking around. And like less than like I don't know, less than 30 seconds of all of us all walking in, we hear like a low, deep guttural growl up in the tree, like right above my head, like maybe like less than 2 to 3 feet away from me, but up in the tree. It was like a deep, a little, like I can't do it because I'm not one of them, um, but that was it, just a short one. I only heard one, but the oldest son, he said he heard one behind him. I didn't hear that because I was only focused on one behind me. So the youngest son, he like does this little maneuver. He like pushes me to run, but before he did it, I had like a moment of precognition, seeing him react that way. So that by the time he even did it, my body automatically reacted to what he did. I caught his arm because he wanted to run. So I caught his arm and I stood there. And the oldest son, he wasn't gonna do anything unless he saw me do something. So we stood there, and after the growl, I waited about maybe a good 10 seconds. I did feel, I don't know how to explain this. Maybe some people can relate, but sometimes when you're in like really tough spiritual situations, you can feel a higher self take over, and you kind of enter that state or that zone. Like I know Satori is one of these states of awareness where time slows down and you're like way more self-aware, and it's
Right.
almost like you can see yourself in the third person almost. I have a lot of experience with that, so when that kicked in, I allow it. I don't resist it. I allow it. Um, so when that happened, I kind of had a decent idea to where they were. What they not. I only knew about the one. I know that there was multiple. After we shared our story when we got into the light.
Hang on, guys. We've got something knocking on our window. I'm sorry. Hold tight.
I don't see anything or anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you heard the knock on the window.
Just go ahead, Cornell. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you will. Okay,
We'll
go
make
ahead.
sure. Okay,
He's going to go check
interesting.
it out.
Interesting. So that's kind of interesting. That happens right as I was saying that specific thing. Um, so let's see here. Forgot where I was at.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm kind of worried about you guys right now.
Well,
I feel like I'd be more comfortable once Barton gets back. I want to make sure that everything's okay.
yeah, he had to go out and check it out because something hit our window just now.
Yeah, I feel like that might not be. I don't think that's kind of like a coincidental situation. I just feel like it depends on certain topics. It draws up certain energy, and then you could be like listened in on.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's why.
we've actually been finding it's like 3 claw prints in our front yard, and we've got cameras all around our house. We've got them out front. We've got them pointing everywhere, but we can't seem to catch whatever this is on camera. But every time it's out there, it's just 3 claw marks, and I would think maybe it's a dog that just has really long claws. But why is it only 3? And I thought, well, maybe it's a dog digging up a mole or something because we have moles out here everywhere. But there's no like dig marks. It's just like 3 scratches, and they're really deep and they're really long. And we still haven't figured out what is. Did you see anything out there?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, that was weird.
Yeah, well, definitely not a dog. Definitely not a dog. I guess whatever it is making its presence known. Um, so yeah, so we calmly walk out the woods. This is my choice to do this, not like yeah, that's just the way it goes. From what I've learned in that state of heightened awareness, I don't always have access to it. It's only when things like this happens. So under that state of being, I knew how to handle myself in that situation. You walk out calmly, you do not run, you do not allow your heart rate to accelerate. It's important to remain calm because you want to be consciously in control of your emotions. If you let that get out of control, that's when these things start to like feed off of it. So the impression I've gotten from that encounter was it's a rite of passage to walk away like that. You're essentially earning respect. Now I'm not saying to go out into the woods and take your luck and hope to God your spiritual self kicks in and you get to have this enlightenment. I don't recommend doing that. But since I've already been this way since a kid, and I had lots of encounters, I know it works for me because I've been through this plenty of times, not with Dogman, but other things. So I know that to trust the information, it works. Otherwise, you could be screwed if you go against your intuition. So I did what I knew best, and I think that's kind of the way she wanted it. I think it was a male behind me. I don't know that for sure, but I think it was a male behind me. But what really stood out to me from that encounter was they kind of, I guess they're like cats in a way. They can choose you psychically, and they can kind of have a decent understanding for what kind of person you are. And I guess sometimes they want to challenge you to see if like you're spiritually strong. So it's kind of like gauging whether or not if you're like I don't know what they would call it, but I guess that kind of human that kind of deserves the respect. Obviously, I know and they know I can't take one on one in a fight, but I don't think it always comes down to that. I think in a lot of cases, since we're spiritual beings and physical bodies, and they're not dumbed down by TV and fluoride in their water, they have access to spiritual sight. They have access to foresight. They have that same level of intuition, just like how a lot of animals do. So if they have that, and some humans do, I'm not going to overlook the fact that they can see that within us. So when I left out and I was not chased, at this point I've already heard thousands of Dogman encounters and all kinds of stories, so I already know like some of the other worst case scenarios. So by me choosing to walk out and nothing chose to follow me, it told me like, all right, cool. Choosing to control your emotions have a lot to do with the outcome. It's not so much as like, oh yeah, I'm the Mr. Big Bad, whatever. He ain't gonna touch me. Dogman, he fears me. No, it wasn't nothing like that. But maybe it. I don't know. I don't want to like sound overconfident, but I do think that they can recognize. I guess real recognize real. Let's put it that way. So, and I had a few other encounters where I used that same mentality, and sure enough, nothing ever came from it, even though I was within close proximity of these things. Um, so there's another encounter. That was one with all three of us, me and the sons. There was another one where I was alone and I was in a different part of Maryland. I was living with a few coworkers. This is like a year or two later, I guess. I was working for a roofing company, and I don't know. I guess I had like a little bit of a rough ride after the divorce. Kind of like couch surfed for a while. Had to refine my place in the world. Um,
Right.
Anyways, long story short, I was staying with some coworkers, and well, this one, I guess, take it as you will, because everyone wants to say if this person's lying or not lying. Take it as you will, but I'll give you the full truth and details to how it went down. So one of the roommates had access to magic shrooms, and he was all on board with this. Now, personally, I never had it before that day. Um, so he was like, "You should try it because it makes you super smart." He was looking to use it to increase his marketing skills. I had no idea it could work though. I mean, I mean, most people only know about the effects of it in high doses. You're gonna hallucinate and see God knows what. That's that. That's what most people kind of just see it as. They don't really understand the depth of what it does to you on a conscious level, especially in low doses. Um, so I would say that I have the ability to meditate for up to like 16 hours. I don't do it too often because, well, unless you live alone, you have that complete privacy. But if you do it, I guess anywhere else, the key to really successfully do that, you have to ignore all of your surroundings. So if someone interrupts you, you can hear them, but you still choose to ignore them, and they'll probably think you're dead or something, but you're not. It's just that the longer you stay in that state, time actually slows down. So for me, once I enter it, like you can tell the difference between uh, calming yourself down, starting to gain the focus until you enter that state where like you're in some sort of super state where it feels like your body is everywhere, not in a single place. It feels like you're physically everywhere. Um, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into that, but the point of the matter is, um, once I enter that state, literally 5 minutes for me could roughly range about maybe 8 hours. That's how it will feel internally. And because that's the case, as time goes on and the more I become, I guess, physically disconnected, what happens is um, actual time sort of speeds up. To me, it's slow, but for everyone else, it's normal pace. So 16 hours go by, and for me, it starts to feel like only 5 minutes. It always feels like it's just been 5 minutes. It's just been, and then if I try to like calculate the time, I'm like, oh, it's only been maybe 2 hours. And then that's when you come out of that state. You do it intentionally, but when you're ready to come out, you realize it's pretty much the next morning. So the reason I bring that up is because when you're in that state, there's a certain feeling you get within your mind that confirms you've entered it. So, with that being said, when I first took the mushrooms in low doses, I realized when it kicked in, I didn't know what to expect. I thought like how it is in the movies, you start, seeing things. Wasn't the case because he said it, since you were a little scaredy cat, you didn't have very much. You're not going to see anything. I'm like, all right, perfect. But the first feeling I got was deep meditation. It felt like I entered that state without any effort at all, any hard work. I didn't have to put in that first 35 minutes of calming down, controlling my breathing, controlling my heart rate, and then entering that state of freedom, or a really, it's like a really strong sense of freedom once you do it correctly. Um, it did it automatically. So I thought this is interesting. I can't believe people actually use it for recreational purposes. That's kind of stupid. Like if you literally meditate in low doses with this, I'm not saying to go do it. I'm just, for those who do what they want to do, I'm just saying, you could literally reprogram a lot of the negative things in your mind. You can reprogram negative thoughts. You can reprogram yourself to overcome different issues because I don't know. It's a really powerful tool. So, anyways, with that all being said, I took the initiative to go meditate. These guys, they got done after they were done teasing me, assuming that I was gonna like have a nervous breakdown or something, because I guess they was just hoping for me to have a bad experience so they can laugh at it. That didn't happen because I was so adept to meditation. I had that self control, and
Our boy.
with that self control, I figured, all right, well, this is a once in opportunity lifetime where I get to have absolute complete focus without needing to worry about getting distracted. They're going to sleep. I'm going to meditate outside. I got into the lawn chair, and I'm like I said, I had like a bit of a rough ride after the divorce. I'm like traveling a lot, and things are what they are, especially emotionally. So I wanted to work on some of my thoughts. So I'm out there. I'm in deep meditation. I'm having the time of my life. I am literally just figuring things out, and out of nowhere, I get this thought. Now, I'm a strong believer that whenever a thought enters your mind, if it wasn't your previous or current train of thought, it's not your thought. If you can ignore it once and it doesn't happen again, then maybe it was you. But if it continues to repeat itself, what that means is it's a reoccurring thought that's been sent to you. It's not your thought. So whenever that happens, anybody who's listening, just keep in mind that whenever you get reoccurring thoughts that are things that you're not intentionally thinking about, just remember something's doing that to you on purpose. So just a heads up. So anyways, so while I'm in this lawn chair, I get this image impression in my mind. And so what the image showed, it gave me the image of the right of me. So I'm outside. I mean, I knew this was fairly dangerous considering like things lurk in the woods. And I was like 3 in the morning when I'm doing this. So it was a bit of a risky time to be out there meditating, but I just felt like I felt pretty strong spiritually, and I always felt that way. So I just felt like, well, worst case scenario, the other side of me will take over and kind of keep me safe. It's never failed at this point, so I was confident. Um, I get this image of in my mind of Eyeshine sitting in the trees, and they're looking at me. And they're I don't know if this is the same group that I've met before in DC. I'm guessing this is a different group of these creatures. The impression that I was given before I actually looked over there was, what are you going to do if you're surrounded by what we are? And I had the impression that they were dogmen. I think they were all male. I'm not sure, maybe like one or two females, but it was five sets of eyeshine. One did have red. This was the image I got mentally before I looked. I didn't think I was going to see this. So they sent the image to my mind, and then I had to internally process it. I'm thinking, all right, well, because it was posed to me as a question, how would you react? That was the mind speak that I got. And I responded. I was like, well, if that is what I would see, I guess I would be freaked out. I'll admit that. I think I would be afraid, but truthfully speaking, if I had to choose, considering I cannot go back inside faster than they can move, I think I would just deal with it. That was the way I responded because I was getting this recurring thought. So I said, I'll just deal with it. And on top of that, I'm going to continue to sit here. I'm going to choose to be calm and not worry. That was my I guess my reservation towards towards the whole situation. And I ignored it from that point. I was like, that's it was just a thought that popped in. And for the second time, I responded. Then a thought did it again, same image. And I'm thinking, well, I use a lot of curse words when I talk. I won't do it here. But I thought, screw it. I'm just gonna look. So I look, and I saw the exact impression that was in my mind. The same exact eye shines, exactly where they were. And I'm guessing you guys are getting bothered by now, right now.
No, this is just the next door neighbors. We're hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. So what happened was when I looked over, that's what I see. So I know some people are like, oh yeah, he was on mushrooms. He see this, but I guess if anyone who has ever tried it before, you know that you can only see brighter lights if they already exist in the location that you're looking. You cannot create something there that's not there unless you're on extremely high doses, which I did not, which is why they make fun of me of calling me a scaredy cat. So there was no me being able to imagine something to create some sort of illusion that's not really there. That wasn't happening. So, anyways, with that being said, to the right of me, the eye shines are there, bro. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm just gonna ignore this. So I look away, and I think back on that resolve I made within myself. I'm like, okay, now I have to keep my word. I really do have to say what I would do what I said I would do. I do have to keep my heart calm. I have to keep my breathing cool because essentially I felt like they were challenging my ability to meditate. And I believe that when you meditate, you're elevating yourself spiritually. So it's like doing spiritual work. And they wanted to see if I would keep my word. And it was pretty cool, I guess, because I passed the test. I didn't get uh, hurt. So I look away, and then the fear set in because now I'm like, all right, this is really happening. So the moment I felt a little bit of fear kind of elevate my heart rate, I remembered what I said, and I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Because if they wanted me to know that they were there and they wanted me to see them, then they could have been gotten down and did whatever they wanted to do. If they're really gonna do like Hollywood say they're gonna do, they could have been gotten down. In that case, um, the fact that I acknowledged them, now they're waiting to see how I'm gonna react. So I got the impression the ball was actually in my court. Like they already know they can take me to hands down. Like only takes one of them, and that's I'm outnumbered. So and two, like I can't get away as fast as they can get to me. So I really felt like, cool, this is the perfect time for me to show myself meditation does work. You can control the way you feel. You can make sure that your emotions are aligned with what you choose to have happen. So I continued the meditation. I lay back, closed my eyes, and I told myself, all right, well, even though I know you guys are here, because they was, I don't know how they do it. They can still keep in contact with your thoughts. I was like, well, you keep watching then, and I'm going to keep doing what I said I was going to do. I'm going to remain calm. I'm going to meditate. But if you want to come down, come down. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna keep chilling, bro. Like that. I mean, like, what do you want me to do? Be scared? Like it's too late. Like, okay, I see you now. So, they kept watching. I looked over a few more times to see if they were still watching, and I was like, it's either I pay attention to you or I continue my meditation. Which is more important? I chose meditation. I felt like this is a really cool level of adversity to prove that I am good at meditating, and I'm going to continue to do it and then to ignore this distraction. I don't think they're looking to do anything because if they were, they would have just did it. So I continued my meditation for like another 15 minutes, and every time I felt distracted by them trying to get my attention, I just ignored them. Um, I just felt like they just wanted to see if they can implant any sort of fear where I would react mentally because I mean I wasn't going to react physically, but they was in my head and they wanted to see how I would react emotionally and mentally. I just didn't want to give into it. I was like, you know what, dude, chill in the trees and let me do my thing. Like, stay over there and leave me leave me alone. And I just kept meditating, and I think they got irritated because they left. Because when I went back inside, the eyeshine wasn't there. I don't know if they left completely, but I'm guessing they turned the eyeshine off. Um, I know that sounds weird, but I didn't hear them show up and I didn't hear them leave. So after the 15 minutes or so, I mean, I guess it was 15 minutes. It could have been slightly longer. I don't know because I was choosing to relax, and I know when that happens, the moment I feel time slow down, I try to completely ignore everything else. I have no choice because then I interrupt the meditation. So when I went back inside, the screen door. I'm on the first level in this apartment. And the screen door outlooks the woods, and I was sleeping on the couch. So I get inside, get back on the couch. My feet are facing the window of where the woods are. And with that being said, I didn't want to close the blinds. I didn't want to do nothing like that. I wanted them to understand, like, if you want me, you got full access. I wanted to make it very clear and very obvious. Like, I'm not afraid. So if you want to do it, come on down. Let's have some fun, right? Like if I mean, if assuming, I mean, I didn't really accept the assumption of death, but if death was on the table, well, come get some. All right, like I can't win, so what do you want me to do? Be scared and lose? How about I just choose what I want to choose, and you just come get me? That was just the mentality I had. So I left the blinds open, and There was no knocks in the window. Nobody, like not nobody, but none of them came to the window or the sliding door. Nothing like that. I did lock it. I kind of had no choice, I think, because there's roommates. So if anything did happen because of my my arrogance, I didn't want other people to be in danger. Um, Nothing. That was it, and they just that was it, bro. I mean, they just left, and I thought to myself, like, man, they really challenged me at a time where I should have been the most vulnerable. They really thought that would be a good idea because they asked the question. They didn't say like, I mean, there was no growls. It was more like a question, like, how would you react if you see us here watching you? That was the question, and I responded. Then I had to keep my word because if I
Right.
didn't, I think they would have done something because I made it possible by being a sitting duck. Um, so fast forwarding from that conversation, that encounter, there was a different encounter that I had with me and my oldest son. So what happened was we were working out in Georgetown at a workout park. I love workout parks, so it sounds like I'm always outside at night working out. Um, so he was about to work out, and I'm like getting ready for him. Like I was gonna work out too. I just wasn't in a rush. He wanted to like prove himself and show how strong he was. So he was in a rush to start before me, and so I'm a little ways away, and I kept getting once again some reoccurring thoughts. But this time, I don't think it came from the creature itself. I think this one might have been more divine. It was more like a. I think this was more coming from God. So I'm a little ways away, all in the same football field. This is behind a school, and there's like the calisthenic bars. We can do pull-ups and push-ups, and there's other equipment. He's doing his thing. There was a huge full moon that night, um, like a super moon, I guess. And I kept getting these reoccurring thoughts, like these were more like panic thoughts. So I knew they weren't mine because I wasn't in a panic state. It was like um, I don't want to see my son's name, but like they kept saying like check on so and so, check on so and so. What if this? What if that? What if this is out here? What if I'm like, bro, like why am I getting these? I was irritated 'cause I didn't want to think about Dogman. That just wasn't in my mind. After as much as me and my kids talk about it, I just didn't feel like talking about it again. I'm like, why am I thinking about a Dogman right now at a time where like I am the least bit on that topic? And I just kept getting a thought, like, what if there's one nearby? There might be one nearby. What if one's watching him? What if there's one watching him? That's just the way the thoughts kept repeating, but they was doing it really fast. It wasn't like the other mind speaks where it's just like, here's the thought, then they will like give it a couple seconds, then they would do it again, probably no more than 4 times before you acknowledge it. This was different. It was more like very repetitive and very fast. And I was like, I didn't want to accept it 'cause I didn't feel like looking into it. I'm like, yeah, he's fine, he'd be all right. But then I started to get like a worried feeling. And I thought like, if I'm worried, even though I'm not choosing to think about this, and the thoughts are reoccurring, God dang it, I gotta pay attention. What are the chances? So I go over to where he's at, and he's like staring off into like into like the bamboo area. This is behind this person's house. It's like a really rich area too. So he's staring off into like the bamboo. And I walk over to him, and he says, "Hey, I think something's watching me." Now, I wasn't too sure if I was gonna believe him at first because every time we're out, like say we do Uber Eats together, like late at night, we'll like listen to Dogman stories and things like that, and we'll do Uber Eats just kind of like for the thrill of the ride. And the next morning, he was like, "Oh yeah, Dad, I seen this last night." I'm like, "Well, why didn't you say anything? We were in the same car. Like, like why didn't you tell me?" He's like, "Yeah, I didn't know what it was, so I just figured I'd wait." I'm like, "Bro, that's messed up. You know, I want to see it too." So he was kind of getting on my nerves with that. And so this time I'm just like, really? You really seen something? Because now you finally telling me. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, yeah, I think it's over there. So we both stand. We stare at the woods. We see nothing. So he goes back to work. And now I'm staring. I'm like, all right, I want to believe him. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to patiently wait because I know like if there was something there, because he didn't say what it was. I just had like a pre-assumptive feeling to what it could be. But worst case scenario, it could have been some other kind of cryptid, which may not be well known or well talked about. So it could be a totally different kind of danger. So I just kept watching, saw nothing. So I was like, all right, well, whatever, man. Like, I still think that the recurring thoughts are very related to what he was going through, even though I didn't see what he saw. So we go to a different part of the park. We walk away a little bit. We're about to do, I forgot what kind of, oh, it was like a hanging leg raise. We was about to do those. So I was going to do it first to show them the way you should be doing it properly and all that. And I put my arms on the bar. I look up. The moment I look up, that's when I really, really fully realized the full moon. And it was like bright and huge as day. Like it was lighting up the whole field. And I look at it, I'm like, oh man, that's interesting. This is like the kind of night you'll see a werewolf. I didn't say it to be funny. That's just kind of the impression I got from seeing that, and kind of in conjunction with like certain movies. I just thought like this is kind of like one of those days where like you think you're okay, but you're not okay. And then you see the full moon and you're like, oh, it's no big deal. And then you later find out like it is a big deal. So I was like, this is the kind of night you'll see a werewolf. And he looks at me like terrified. He's like, why would you even say that? I'm like, because it's true. And but I didn't realize the severity of the things I was saying. I was like, well, now that I think about it, after saying this out loud, I'm like, I guess that is kind of creepy. It is late at night. We're out here by ourselves. I was like, don't worry about it. So we do the workout, and as we walking away from completing that set, we're walking to the next area. He's ahead of me because he's like just trying to like focus on the workout. From the peripheral vision, I see two bright white lights, I shine, beaming out from the bamboo that I was just staring at. So I notice it and I look. I'm like, holy crap! Something really was there? So okay, that confirms the thoughts. It confirms what he was saying. And then for God knows what reason, the full moon being involved, I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it, but it definitely gave me the impression that this is that kind of night. So everything got confirmed all at once. And, so I'm looking at it. I'm like, so, hey, this is what you're talking about? And he walks back over to me. He's like, yeah, that's it right there. I'm like, I'm getting chills now just talking about it. He's like, yeah, that's it. And this thing is like, I'm not gonna use certain words, but it is making eye contact, like eye to eye contact at a distance. And I don't know 100% sure if this was a dog man because it never stopped out. And this thing was massive. I mean, bigger than the very first one I seen. Like the head size was way bigger. So I'm not entirely certain what we were dealing with, but all the the thoughts I was getting prior uh, kind of led me to believe that it might be a dog man. I don't think it was a Bigfoot because this thing was insanely massive. I mean, I say massive. Um, I would say from that distance, the eyeshine was so bright and so big. Not bright as in uh, like like as if you're watching the face of a flashlight from a distance. You can tell that it's like self-illuminating shine, and it's like there's like that glary kind of look coming from it. But what what really scared me about this encounter was the eyes were too big to, because it was not close. It was like maybe a good 200 feet away. I'm guessing maybe 250. Let's just say 300 feet away tops, right? And it appeared close because of how big the eyes were. And at some point, I realized, like, wait a second. And it had front facing eyes. So it wasn't like, it was on the side of his head. It's just that from that distance, if you was to hold up a ruler, like a 12-inch ruler, the eyes were on like up, like on, I don't know. Let's just say they were 12 inches apart from the distance. That's how it felt.
Wow.
So it seemed like it was closer than it actually was. So I'm guessing like the head was way bigger and the eyes probably a little bit further across than 12 inches. But I don't know how to explain it, but it literally looked like it was either hunched down, crouched down. It didn't look like it was on 2 feet. It was definitely like kind of like staying low, but at that low level that it was at, bro, literally at least like 5 feet up. And I think it was crouching down. That was the impression I got from it. It was like having his head low, like how a dog would when it's like scoping you out to figure out before, hey, should I attack? Are you a threat? I'm not too sure yet. That was kind of like the way it had his head low. I could not see the entire body, nothing like that, because it was jet black. Um, so like I've seen how the bamboo was looking before I noticed it. So I was able to see into the bamboo to some degree. But when it was there, it was just like a shadow itself. Um, the color of his hair was like insanely dark. It was like darker than the darkness around it. But even with that being said, I couldn't get a decent outline for it. I just knew that the head was abnormally large. Um,
Right.
so so what I did was we stood side by side just watching it. We stood there for a good 10 minutes because I was waiting for it to blink. It didn't want to blink for some reason. It was like a stare down competition. So I just kept looking and looking, and then like it wouldn't turn its head, it wouldn't move. It was like a praying mantis. It was literally focused on either one of us. I'm guessing my son, but it was like looking to make a move. But it wanted to us to like I guess assume that I don't know to walk away or to turn our back at some point to make that move. But I wasn't about to let that happen. So the thing about this encounter is really weird because I've been to that park numerous times, and I knew that something was there, but I didn't know what it was because I never seen it. I've seen it, but I didn't see it close up. I seen flashes of it. Whatever this thing was, or we can all assume what we like. It was running across the field, and it looks like a blur, but it looked like let's just say like a cheetah, like a really large cheetah. I'm not saying large, like on 4 feet, but like 6 feet tall, kind of large. And you can see like the outline of this thing running on 4 feet, like across the field, like insanely fast. So it looked more like a misty kind of look because of the
Mhm.
amount of speed that it had, and it was doing it so fast. Like the first couple times I saw from the peripheral vision, like while doing pull-ups, I'm like, what the? Okay, I'm like, all right, well, I was like, okay, because I don't know what to say about that. It was just kind of weird. It was like a grayish kind of look to it. So I ignored it, and then a few times I was paying attention, like doing like my breathing breaks, like from the each set. I'll look to see if I can see that blur again because it was happening frequently, and I seen it. It would go across. It would do it so fast that like at some point it fades, and then you don't see it. Like it'll show up out of nowhere, full speed, and then fade off as if it got faster somehow. So I don't know. Once again, naiveness here. I just assumed maybe it was a ghost, and maybe this football field was once a battleground, maybe years ago. Maybe that's kind of just what I looked at it as. Since this thing never
Right.
like came towards me, I never got bothered, and I was there pretty late at night on odd occasions, um, just because I'm usually alone anyways, and I work late doing Uber, and I like to get my workouts in. So, with all that being said, when my son came that night, I warned him like, "Hey, if you see anything like that, I think it's a ghost. I don't know what else it could be, but." So I told him like, This is my exact words. This field has a ghost on it. So if you see anything weird, don't worry about it. Just keep working out. It's not a big deal. I don't think it's gonna mess with you. So I didn't, think that it was Dogman, nothing like that. I didn't think that.
Right.
Because I didn't smell anything. I didn't hear anything. There was no crazy sounds, and this would take place without full moons. So and I've seen this on multiple occasions. So I just felt like, all right, well, whatever it is, it's sure as heck ain't bothering me, and it knows I'm out here because there's no one else out here but me on the same exact field. So I'm like, whatever. So that night, while we were having this stare down competition, I just kind of had the feeling that we shouldn't turn our back to it, because it didn't want to blink for some reason and it didn't want to move. I eventually no, believe it or not, I won the staring contest. I don't know if because it wanted to look the other direction or if something got its attention, but you can see it turn its head and you can see like an outline of a snout. So it kind of had like the kind of a pit bull kind of head, but times like 50. So it looked over for a brief second and there was a noise. I don't know if it came from that. My son said the noise came from it. I don't think so, but because it looked in a different direction, then the noise happened. So the noise kind of sounded like I don't know. Thinking back on this, I'm kind of thinking something different, but I'll tell you what I thought then. It sounded like a bird, like a really like the sounds birds make in the morning, but like a really high pitched sound though.
Right.
And the thing snapped its head to look because we were staring at each other and it wouldn't blink. And it, out of nowhere, it looked into the darkness behind it, like it heard something. And then that's when that noise took place. So I didn't really think the noise came from it. It was more like something was getting its attention, like I didn't know one thing's for certain. It wasn't a freaking bird. I'll tell you that. Whatever it was that got its attention wasn't a bird. That was not what I thought it was. It just sounded like a bird almost. It was a really strange bird-like
Like a
noise,
whistling sound, Cornell? A
almost like a
whistling sound?
yeah, but like a strange kind of sound. Like it was like as if it was a whistle, but like a almost like a bird call though. Like something did that on purpose to get its attention.
That's pretty interesting because we had
Yeah,
the same thing happen to us last Friday,
Mm-hmm.
right? Down at Terry's, Ohio County, Kentucky. So like
Can't
a
find
whistling
it.
sound at about midnight. Don't know what it was. I just assumed it was a bird, but I don't know for sure. Most birds, they don't do that at night, and it approached us,
that's what I was thinking. Like, why would a
which is
bird do that
something
at
that
night?
birds don't do.
It
Right?
sounded almost like a tropical bird, but the noise was deliberate and it wasn't any more than what it needed to be. It was like I think honestly, honest to God, I think it was a handler. That's what I think it was. I'm not sure if that was a dogman. I kind of feel, I guess, whatever. We already had the conversation now, so I think it might have been a werewolf, like a legit version, and I
Yeah.
think that might have been a handler. And I don't know how much
When you
information I
say
should even
handler,
move
what do
into
you mean
having.
by that, Cornell?
Well, there's a lot of information circulating the internet, I guess we can say, of different occults, different societies, and how how they do things. Let's just put it that way. Um, and sometimes certain people are sleepers, kind of like the Jason Bourne sort of thing, or like the Winter Soldier. I know Hollywood likes to
Mhm.
had fun with these little narratives, but they do that to mix real information with fake information to keep people as
Right.
non-believers. So, with that being
Right.
said, I think that thing either lived in that house and that was a transform something. I think that was a transformation. Now I don't this is just my intuition and putting some clues together, but I think that might have been somebody, not just something. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I kind of think about that because I know that well, I don't say I know. Let's just say I assume. Um certain well, these things are sometimes stationed in certain areas of different places like Virginia, Maryland, like just like different quadrants. They're like I don't know who the heck they work for or who employs these things to do what they do, but that thing was there for a reason, and I think that's its location. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say where he's located because I'm guessing whatever it is probably still there. Considering how often I've come there and I've seen that blurry thing run across the field, but that was the first time I've seen the eye shine. Um,
Right. Try to get some video of it if you can, Cornell, next time you go there.
And let me say, everybody say prayers for Mickey G. She's getting ready to go through some pretty bad storms, so
Right.
we want to make sure
And
she's
Harley.
okay. Harley, glad to see you back on here. Prayers to you. Hope you get to feeling better.
Right. And we're approaching the 2 hour mark, Cornell. So
We are at the 2 hour mark.
we're at the 2 hour mark. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, it just went by very quickly. And I know you probably have a bunch more experiences that you'd like to share. So we'll have to do this again sometime.
Mhm.
All right.
Sounds good. I'll be ready for part two. Probably
Yeah.
need another 2 hours.
Okay.
Right. Well, we
Yeah.
got it, buddy. And uh, thank you for coming in on the channel and sharing your story with us. We all appreciate you. That's for sure.
You're very welcome.
And God bless you, man. And I know you're a Christian like we are. So,
You're very
um,
welcome.
yeah, so we'll make time to do this again sometime. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Love to hear another 2 hours.
Yeah, we'd love to hear some more. So I'll be in touch, and you have my phone number, and we've been talking, a little bit on the phone. So anytime you want to call, hello there, brother Martin. Anytime you want to call, you just give me a shout. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Cool. What I'll do next time is give you guys I guess I'll have like a good several more stories. Some are not dogmen, but there's about two more that are dogmen. And then the rest I think the audience may really like because it's kind of it would definitely help with like situational awareness in terms of like
Right.
spiritual attacks that physically manifest in front of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my position is all these things are connected. So
I think so.
looking forward to talking to you again, bro. And you have a good night down
Well,
there in Maryland. Sounds like a
He's
really
got one
interesting
question.
place.
Somebody asked, somebody's wondering if you thought maybe there was something buried under the house and that it might
I,
have wanted. That was Roger.
yeah,
Flying.
honestly, as I was telling that part of the story, I was starting to think the same thing. but I will share some more details on that on the next video with you
Okay.
guys. I spoke to the little boy that lived at the house, and he had some interesting things to say about
Yeah, we
the
didn't get to
area.
cover that one, that little
Yeah.
strange little neighbor boy that you had, but we'll cover that on the next
He
show.
was
bro.
actually the landlord's son, actually, but we'll get into that later.
All right, sounds good. You have a good night, and thanks again for coming on, sharing your experiences with us. We appreciate you.
You're very welcome. You guys have a good night. Stay
Thank
blessed.
you so
You too.
much.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
bro. Have a good night.
All right, now take care.
All right.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you. And thanks to all the new faces that we see in the chat tonight.
Right. There's
A lot of new people here, and all of you are welcome here. If you like no drama, you like raw, real, drama-free, this is a place for you. So thank you guys for being here. We're going to say thank you to all the people who donated tonight. We sure appreciate your donations.
Well, first we're going to say hello and welcome to Into the Darkness Places. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes,
First
hello.
time watcher. I had to get out of the pool. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you being a first time watcher and getting out of the pool for us. So
Yes, we appreciate you. And someone asked if you went on expeditions with me and outings with me.
oh yes.
Every time, yes. I always take my wife. I don't go anywhere without her usually. So the answer is yes.
Sherry Griffey said Kentucky Boy 22 were there white vehicles like vans
Yes,
at the
Kentucky.
LBL that you was talking about earlier.
Kentucky Boy 22, if you're still listening out there, please get in touch with me. And everybody, if you want to have a story that you want to share, please send it to me at inhumanoidencounters@gmail.com. And everybody that's listening right now, please check to see if you're a subscriber. Please check to see that you're still subscribed and hit that like button before we leave, if you don't mind. It really helps with the algorithm, which helps this show grow and reach more people. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach as many people as we can and share the truth.
Also, we need to make sure everybody knows to send your prayer request to lmsmith1970@hotmail.com. It's the only
Yes.
way I have to get prayer requests right now until we get another Facebook going up and going. So Craig Schultz says, hello, Barton and everyone. I had a Dogman encounter while bow hunting and camping out in the LBL in 1981 or 82.
Greg,
I know I seen him say goodbye, I believe. So
right. So
Yeah.
send me your encounters, and I'd be glad to also include your phone number, please, because I always call the people that send me emails. I have to verify and vet each one, so I don't just read everything and anything that people send in. That's not how I do things. So please include your phone number with your email, and we'll get in touch and speak to each other. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much, Queen of Ossian. I appreciate you saying that so much.
Yes, Queen of Ossian. Yes,
Ossian, I'm sorry.
my beautiful wife here.
Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Yes, I love going out in the woods. It's my favorite place to be, is with my husband, out experiencing everything. So,
Yes, we've had some good experiences here lately,
yes,
right?
we have.
Some strange stuff.
Let's see. This one is Cornell. Was there any dogs on the property? Oh, sorry, I missed that one.
Oh,
And
well.
can't. Cryptidville, we will ask him and let you know. I'm so sorry I missed that. I had it starred, but I didn't see it until.
Well, we kind of run out of time there, Brother Mark.
Let's see. All right. Thank you, Sister Angie, for saying that. I appreciate that so very much. Yeah. Okay, so he's gone. We can't ask that question.
Yeah, let's thank the people who were generous enough to donate tonight. It was
All right, here we go.
Really great friends and extended family here.
Gary Spikes, thank you for the gifted 5 Inhumanoids memberships. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Gary.
Sherry Griffey, thank you for the $10 super sticker.
Yes, thank you, Sister Sherry.
Jenny Brown, thank you for the $5. We love you too, girl.
Thank you, Jenny. Much love to you and Steve.
Shade Viking, thank you for being a member for 8 months. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Shade.
Justin Boyd, thank you for the $19.99. Make sure to hit the like and share and subscribe. Prayers for you all, and may you all be blessed beyond measure. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks so much, Justin.
Miranda Crew, become a YouTube member. Well, welcome, Miranda.
Welcome, Miranda.
We appreciate
I hope
that.
you like this channel. We don't do drama on this channel, as you know. So as you can see, so if you like raw and real, no drama, this is a place to be.
Joseph Wilson, $10 and interested Marylander here. So
thank you,
welcome.
Joseph.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
being
and
here.
welcome.
War Criminal. Best in the field, period. Thank you so much for the $10. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, brother, for the compliment and the donation.
Hawk, wow, thank you, Hawk. Oh, appreciate it. Really love this channel, and Barton, you will always be a legend in this field. Sweet Latisha, it's nice to see you smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Hawk. We appreciate you, and thank you for your generosity and your compliment.
Thank you so much. It was good to smile again.
Right.
Jenny Brown, wow, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny.
We think you are amazing, and your husband is amazing, and your child is amazing. Great artist. I remember the pictures that my daughter draw.
Yes,
Beautiful
you did.
Pictures.
I actually put those in one of the videos that I did last year.
So
thank you so much, Jenny. We love you.
Gary Spike Senior's 5 Inhumanoids membership.
Thank you, Brother Gary.
Catherine Gay, $10 super sticker. Thank you so much.
Thank
You
you,
don't know
Catherine.
how much that means to us.
You guys are so generous and sweet. We love you guys.
Wow, Jenny, thank you
Jenny,
so much.
Goodness gracious, thank you so much for your generosity. Anytime you guys are up in Kentucky, we're not celebrities, quote unquote. I don't believe in that, but anytime you see we're up in Kentucky, you guys be sure to stop by and see us.
Please. Or just make a special trip.
Right, or make a special trip. We love to meet people. Of course, we've already met you and Steve, but we love to meet people. We love to meet our viewers and take them out and show them a good time. So anytime.
William Bays, $20 super sticker. Thank you, Brother William.
Thank you, Brother William.
Appreciate you more than you know.
Still got to get over to your house, to that creek.
Clough Paranormal Drama and Things. I've become a YouTube member. Thank you so much, Clough.
Welcome, Clough. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Clough, again for the $5 super sticker. We appreciate you.
Thank you,
more
Clough.
than you know. Hawk gifted 10 Inhumanoids memberships. Thank you so much again, Hawk.
Yes, thanks again, Hawk.
Wow. Jenny Brown, member for 7 months. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you for staying with us, Jenny.
Thank you so much. Yes.
We're happy and proud to have you here.
War Criminal gifted 5 Inhumanoids with part-time Nunnelly memberships. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother War.
Thank you, War.
Thanks again.
Appreciate you again. Sherry Griffey gifted 5 Inhumanoids memberships. Thank you so much,
Thank you, Sister Sherry. We love you.
Thank you so much. Hawk again.
Brother Hawk.
10 more.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Hand of Odd gifted 5. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Han.
We appreciate that so much.
We appreciate you,
Good
man.
seeing you on here. Kevin Murphy, $20 super sticker.
Thank you, Kevin.
So much.
Thank you, brother. And thank you for showing up. And thank you for telling me about Cornell, right? We love you, and Dee, and you have a good night.
So we want to say thank you to everybody. We appreciate everybody's support tonight.
Yes.
I do not have closing music. I'm sorry. I know y'all like to beat to it, and I do too, but I do not have that yet. I've asked it to be sent to me, but it hasn't been sent yet. We will get it. We will get it as soon as possible, or we will come up with some new music.
Right. And we're going to have a very important announcement coming up soon. I've been telling you guys this. It's going to be coming up very soon, maybe next week. So be sure and stick with us and come back next week. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central. We love seeing all you guys, all the new members. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
And thank you so much for your support. It's kind of a rough time right now, but you know what? We're going to be here for a long, long time. So get comfortable, and we got a lot of good stuff coming up for you guys. Okay.
So we're going to end tonight with just saying bye-bye, and we love you guys. And like I said, thank you. Now, Mary, it's so good to see you and Kevin here. We love you guys, and we're going to say good night. So good night.
Also,
everyone.
one more thing before we go.
Sorry.
I just want to say thank you to the hundreds of people who reached out to me on Facebook and Messenger, supporting us and the time that we're going through right now. I just can't believe how many people are supporting us and having our backs.
Me
you know
too.
What's going on. Thank you, Hawk. So most of you guys probably know what's going on with us now. So, but you won't be hearing about it on this channel because we have more class than that. Yeah. Good night, Cowboy. Good night to all of you guys. We love y'all. Take care, and we'll see you guys next week. Okay.
Love you guys. Thank you, Jenny, for always having our back. We love you.
Thank you, Jenny.
And hey, one more thing, guys. Thank you to my moderators. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys do an awesome job. And I will
Excellent job.
I'm going to be throwing a couple more wrenches out. So just kind of be looking for them. And if you want them, accept them. If you don't want them, just don't accept them. So we love you guys. We will see you guys later.
God bless.
Next week. Bye-bye.